today let's dive into a pretty deep question. The question, what do I say when I think someone might be having a mental health challenge, even a mental health crisis? We go throughout our day and we work with people, we live with people, we go to church with people, see people in the grocery store, all these things. And maybe we notice that someone seems to be suffering, but we don't know what to say. Yesterday, and this is not a mental health issue, but I was so proud of my husband. He went to Kroger yesterday and he came home and he said that he saw an older man kind of leaning on a garbage can, and he asked him if he was okay and if he needed help. And I thought, isn't that what we should do? That was more of a physical thing, and I am so proud of him. Many of us, I don't know. There are people who would offer help. If you see somebody lying on the ground or they're bleeding, you're probably going to say, oh my gosh, let me help you. Let me get some help. Let me call 911. But if you notice someone seems to be suffering emotionally or mentally, that is not as easy. And I hope if you follow me, you're not tired of hearing me say, when I got out of the mental hospital, but, that's the fact. So it was back in the 90s, okay, 95, in the psychiatric hospital in Nashville, got out, came home. No one knew what to say to me. It was like this, like elephant in the room, but no one, they didn't. People would avoid me, or they would just talk about, the weather, or, there were very few people who really just talked to me about what I had been going through. No judgment there. It's just that it's a different time now. That's been almost 30 years ago, and we have definitely grown, but it's still difficult. Now, I know there's one thing that holds me back sometimes from at least as in the past, from asking someone the question if I think they're having a mental health struggle, a substance abuse crisis, whatever it is that I have this weird thing where I want to say something epic, like strong and powerful, and I want to help them change their lives. And then I would also want to give them this great advice. And so sometimes I wouldn't even speak up. In fact, that's what's held me back for a lot of years of doing more like recordings and things like that, because I think, well, what am I going to say that people haven't heard before? But that's just the dumbest thing. That's not you, but for me, holding me back. So when I took this mental health first aid class you've heard me talk about before, and there'll be a link if you're interested in taking it. I took it as a student in like February of 2023, this year. And I loved it so much that I became an instructor in March. And I've taught, 6 or 8 classes since then. And it helped really open my eyes to how simple it is. And when I say simple, stay with me, to check with somebody if they seem to be having a struggle. Because just like if you saw someone bleeding like profusely, you would offer help, you would call 911, you might wrap your sweater, you would do something, but you would not sew it up or perform surgery or set a bone, because you don't know how to do that. So what you're doing is you're being a bridge between what's going on with that person in the moment and the help that they need. And that's all we need to do when we think someone is suffering. And so when I say easy, it may be emotionally taxing for you. There are many things that might hold you back other than what I'm just saying to you now. But as far as what the person needs, it's not that complicated. And here's the best question you can ask. Are you ready? Do you have a pen? Here we go. Are you okay? Mind blown, right? Now, you can say it in many other different phrases. In fact, in the notes below, if you're watching on YouTube, in the notes below, if you're on TikTok or somewhere else, then, go to my link tree, go to my YouTube, and you can find the information there. There are ways that you can say, you don't seem yourself. If it's someone you don't seem yourself. Is anything going on? Would you like to talk? Can I help? And what sometimes happens See, I can read your mind. You're thinking, yeah, I'll ask if they're okay, and they'll say, I'm fine. A follow-up question, how are you really? Are you doing okay, really? And the reason that follow-up question is so powerful is because the question, are you okay, is, or how are you doing, or whatever, is oftentimes just like an introduction to conversation. But if you follow it up, then the person may really know that you want to know what's going on in their world. That's all you have to do. Now, from there, this is just, and this is definitely a bigger thing than what we're talking about now. I'll do a follow-up next time. What's the next thing you can say? Maybe not word for word, but once you ask the question, just remind yourself of a few things. First of all, you don't have to be epic. Second, you're not supposed to fix the person or even try. You are a bridge. You are a bridge between where they are and what they need. And you may not know what that bridge is. I'll put some mental health links and resources as well. But you're just the bridge. Is there someone I can call for you? Opening up the conversation is the biggest thing. That's all. Now, remember a couple of questions to ask yourself, or a few questions before you start is, am I willing to listen? Am I willing to devote the time? Am I the right person to do this? If this is someone that you have a terrible relationship with, is there someone else who would be better? Okay, do y'all see that hair? Yeah, no, I see it because I just dried my hair. And this has nothing to do with anything. This is the difficulty of seeing yourself on screen, right? Sorry, focus. Just ask yourself those questions. There are deeper, mental health questions that ask, what if the person is possibly having suicidal thoughts? We'll do a follow-up with that probably in a couple of sessions. The next one, I'll go a little bit deeper on this. That's what I wanted to share with you today. If we could just view asking someone if they need help mentally the same way we do physically, change the world. And listen, if they absolutely don't want your help, that's okay. The point is that you tried, and you were a noticer, and you made an attempt to be a bridge. And that's all we can really do. So go out there, change the world. See you next time.